Welcome to this rejuvenation session. So in today's session, I would recommend 2 yoga blocks. If you do not have these, something like a foam roller will definitely make do for what we're going to be doing today. And as always, having a yoga strap around or something similar like a belt, another piece of rope, or even just a wrapped up towel can help you in getting these poses deeper. So let's go ahead and get started. Get these out of the way. To start today's session, we are going to begin lying on our backs, nice and on the mat. Just starting to let your body relax here. Just going to take some few deep breaths. Letting the inhale be through the nose. Exhaling how you need to. Just letting yourself arrive. And taking a nice inhale, reaching those arms overhead. And just giving yourself a nice full body stretch like you're waking up. Exhaling, letting them hang down by the sides. We're going to go ahead and start with a nice stretch in the legs. We're going to come up into what I would call a half egg roll. Tucking that right leg in, pulling it into the chest. And you can roll that ankle around if you want. Mine's cracking today, personally. It's probably all that snow we're getting outside. The weather changes. Okay. Next inhale, extending that leg straight up, heel driving up towards the ceiling. Now would be a great spot if you don't have this range of motion to grab behind the leg, to take that strap over the foot and just hold it in place here. We're just going to hold this 6 breaths. And one more inhale. And exhale, releasing that leg, taking that strap off if needed, lowering it to the ground. Taking a nice inhale. And exhaling, pulling that left leg in, or whatever leg you did not do. Taking the opportunity, rolling that ankle out if you want. Just starting to make space in the body. Nice inhale, and extend that leg straight up, strap if needed. If not, hand behind the leg, behind, maybe it is the hamstring, the knee, or the calf. Just finding that leg straight, not hyperextending, just making sure it's nice and long. Driving the heel to the sky. Three more breaths. And one more inhale. Exhaling, lowering that leg to the mat. We're going to take our feet, bring them into a bridge pose, letting the fingertips graze along the tips, the edges of the back heels. And from here, we're going to take our hips and we're going to round our tailbone like we're tucking a tail underneath, driving the belly button into the ground, letting that whole low back rest. Just feeling a little bit more activation here actually in the core. We're going to take a nice inhale here and an exhale. Placing those hands by the sides, taking an inhale, lifting the hips, coming into bridge. From here, we're going to stay for about 7 breaths. Just really making sure to keep that low back tucked under, driving those glutes around and back up to the sky like that tail is tucked under. making sure his legs are nice and strong. 3 more breaths. Let's take 1 more breath. Make sure that collarbone's nice and open. And exhaling, dropping back down. That was nice. Let's take our right leg, and keeping that left leg grounded into the floor, we're gonna make a figure 4 over that left leg. That figure 4 comes in the leg shape. So you can take your hands, place them by the sides or even over your body. And we're just gonna start doing some nice figure 4 twists. So taking a nice inhale, and you're gonna exhale, and you're going to rotate that heel to the left side of the floor. Finding some nice space here, we're going to take 4 breaths. And let's take an exhale back to center. Inhaling through center. Exhaling, rotating that right knee to the ground. 3 breaths here. And this time, inhale into center. We're going to stay here. We're going to take that left leg, lift it off the ground, and we're going to start in this nice supine figure 4. Call it like a supine pigeon. You're going to take that right hand, drive the right knee out, taking that left hand behind the hamstring and knee and pulling it in. You can lengthen that left leg if you want. We're just going to hold this 6 breaths. And 1 more inhale. And exhale, rotating out, placing that left leg down, uncrossing that supine. And then we're going to take our knees, and we're actually going to drop both of them. So widen that stance a little bit, so it's a little wider than that normal bridge position. You're just going to drop both knees to the right side. 6 breaths here. Here would be a great opportunity. Let's say you can't drop the knees all the way, taking a block or the foam roller, resting it underneath this knee. Let's do 2 more breaths. And exhaling that last breath, inhaling back to center. Taking that left leg, we're figure 4ing it over the right leg. So nice and good. We can stay here for a moment on this side if you want. You can actually test out the waters, noticing that movement, pressing that knee towards you and away from you. Just really feeling that range of motion in the hip. And let's take a nice inhale. Exhaling, rotating left foot to the right side of the ground. 6 breaths. Inhaling back through center. Exhaling, twisting, dropping the left knee to the mat. 3 breaths. And inhaling back through center. This time just exhaling, rotating that left foot down to the floor. Inhaling back through center. Exhaling, rotating back over to the left side. We're going to do this 4 times. Inhaling through center. Exhaling over. Same the other way. Inhaling through center. Exhaling, twisting. And one more this side. And back through to center, finishing that last twist. Uncrossing that figure 4, taking both knees, tucking them into the chest, and we're just going to create a nice little egg shape here and start to rock side to side, giving that spine some nice relief. You can tuck the head up like this, or let it relax on the ground. 3 more breaths here. Let's make it 4. And finishing that, we are actually going to take our momentum to rock ourselves up. If you do not feel like you can do this safely, just in a controlled motion, bring yourself up. If not, take that nice egg and rock and roll forward, nice and up. Sending yourself off in the mat. We're going to start just here in easy pose. So our legs are either crossed or one in front of the other. And we're going to take a nice inhale. Pause 1 second before we do that. If you feel like you cannot actually sit fully up straight, if you kind of feel like you're doing this, you're just going to take one of those blocks, foam roller, or even a pillow, and you're just going to sit yourself up like so. You'll just make more space in the hips. But back to it. We're going to sit right here, take an inhale, reach those arms up overhead. And exhale, drop them forward, out to the sides, and inhale right back up. And exhaling back out to the sides, we're just making space in the shoulders this way. Inhaling up, exhaling, hands on the knees. From here, we're going to take an inhale, and we're exhaling, twisting over to the right side, left hand on right knee, following with the gaze over the right shoulder. 3 more breaths here. Inhaling back through center, arms up. Exhaling, twisting to the left, placing that right hand on the left knee, following gaze over left shoulder. And inhaling back through center, arms up. Exhaling, placing them down on the mat, untucking yourself, bringing yourself up and into tabletop. Pull my pants up. Okay, from here, we're going to shift back into child's pose. You can have your hands and knees a little further apart. You just saw me kind of shimmy. Just taking those hands are further in front of your shoulders, inhaling, exhaling, shifting back into child's pose. If this is not comfortable, here would be a great opportunity to put one of those pillows or blocks underneath the hips just to create more space here. As well as if you need more comfort on the knees for this, pausing and grabbing a blanket to put underneath the knees for more cushion. Let's take 6 breaths here. Letting that head rest on the ground. One more breath in and out. And inhaling, pulling back to tabletop. From here, we are going to take ourselves into some cat-cows, making sure those hands are back under those shoulders, nice and squared off. We're going to inhale and exhale, rounding the back to the sky, dropping the tailbone and the crown of the head to the earth. Let's take 2 breaths here. And inhaling, coming through neutral, dropping the heart forward, arching the back, and letting that throat shine forward. This is cow. Inhaling and exhaling here 2 times. One more inhale and exhale back to cat. Inhaling here, finding the exhale, then inhaling back to cow. Exhaling to cat. Inhaling once more to cow. Dropping those hips back into child's pose. Walking those hands forward, we're going to make some length here, as if your fingers can grip into the floor. Walk them slowly further out in front of you, really making space in the shoulders. And then from here, we're going to take our fingers, we're going to walk them to the right side of the mat, creating a left side stretch. And as you do this, you're going to think about inhaling, breathing into the left side of the body, as if that breath can expand through the armpit, the ribs, all the way into that hip. 5 breaths. And inhaling back through center, walking those fingers to the left side of the mat. Same thing for the right side. And finishing that last breath, inhaling back to center, taking your hands, pulling yourself back up into tabletop. We're going to shimmy our hips and our knees back, and we're actually going to lower ourselves all the way to the mat. From here, you're going to keep your hands right at those shoulders, and you're going to inhale, and you're going to exhale, half lifting, pressing through those hands, creating a nice back bend. And exhaling down, inhaling up, exhaling down. Let's switch that breathing pattern. Take a nice inhale here, exhaling up, inhaling down. And again. One more time. And from here, press yourself all the way through back into tabletop. That woke up the shoulders, if you ask me. All right, let's keep going. We're going to move ourselves into some thread the needles. These are going to be more active. So how this works is you inhale, reach that right arm up to the sky, and then you exhale and you just dive it through. And inhaling right back up. Let's do that 5 times. Here's this first one. And on this last breath, inhale, swoop it up. Exhale, dive through, and we're going to hold this 5 breaths. If you need more space to rest your head, if you can't rest it on the ground, grab the block, the pillow, etc. Let's do 4 more breaths where we are. And finishing that last exhale, inhaling through and reaching it up one more time and back to neutral. Let's go for that left side. 5 breaths here, 5 thread the needles, inhaling it up, exhaling through. Holding at this last one, 5 breaths. pressing out, inhaling back to that one more twist, and back to neutral. We're going to take those hands, walk them out in front of the shoulders, tuck those toes under. We're pressing up into a down dog, and then we're going to walk our feet forward into a nice forward fold. From here, if you can drop all the way to the ground, that's amazing. If not, just grasp behind the legs, relax the head, and just start to hang. We're going to do 10 breaths here. And let's do 3 more breaths. One more. And taking a nice inhale, half lift. Exhaling back down to forward fold. Inhaling half lift. Taking an exhale and half lift. And inhaling, coming to stand all the way up. Just let your brain come back to neutral, standing nice and tall. You can rotate the hips a little, shake out the shoulders. Roll them out, roll out those shoulders. Okay. Inhale, reach those arms up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Take those hands to the mat, and we're going to walk ourselves back to down dog. If you are here and you're not sure about the alignment, just rock it forward into that high plank. If you are in a high plank, spine nice and long, hands right under shoulders, you are in that good position. From there, you're going to press those hips back. Keep the spine nice and long and neutral. Press away from the mat. If your legs cannot come fully straight, just keep a bend in the knees and find that length. Find that length through the shoulders, pressing the shoulder blades away from the earth and together. Pressing those hips to the wall and then finding length in the back of the legs. We are going to find a nice stance in between the heels, just really letting the backs of the legs open up. Four more breaths in down dog. Stopping that hamstring, the calf stretching, just letting those heels rest where they can. One more inhale. Exhale, come forward into that high plank. Drop those knees. We're going to relax those back toes, and you're just going to drop those hips forward, going into a nice up dog. If this is too much, you can just bend the elbows, creating less of that stretch in the low back. 3 more breaths. Collarbones apart. 1 more breath. And exhale back to down dog. Three more breaths here. And 1 more breath. And then coming back to tabletop. We are going to move into some hips. So let's just take ourselves from here. We're going to bring that left leg to the front of the mat. And we're going to take, once again, support where needed. And we're actually going to square ourselves off into a 90-90. So how this looks, if you are trying to line yourself up, you want that front leg kind of like parallel with the front of the mat, and that back leg parallel to the side of the mat. If this is easy, that's great. If you're like, I can't sit up straight, maybe this just is too much of a pinch, take that block, that pillow, whatever it is, scoot it underneath that left hip on this side. And you're just gonna make more space once again so you can sit up tall. If you don't need that, that next option is taking that support and pressing it into that other, that left hand, so you can sit up straight and you're not falling over. If you're not here yet, let's get here. We're just gonna take the 6 more breaths before we do anything with it. One more inhale. We're actually going to exhale, slowly roll forward, kind of like a pigeon here. Finding that space. If you need that support, let yourself relax on it. Think about here. If you're rounding, you want to be up taller. You want to have it as if you are leading with an open heart, spine nice and long, so the spine isn't rounding to get forward. All that motion is just a hinge in the hips. Slow, right where we're at. If you're already there, that's great. Let's do 8 more breaths. Let's take 1 more breath. Finishing that exhale, and then inhaling right back up through into center. All right, now we get to dance. From here, I love being able to do these kind of motions. Just take those heels back down to the mat, and we're just rotating to the other side. Squaring off, making sure you're nice and pretty. And just notice if both sides feel the same. Like for me today, my left hip is tighter. So it's just the way it is. Keeping that block where you need it. Let's get 7 breaths total, nice and tall. All right, 1 more inhale, and we're exhaling, leaning forward, making sure it's a hinge at the hips, not rolling that spine forward to try and get to the earth. No, this is the hips we're working. Let's do 4 more breaths here. One more breath, and we're going to inhale right back up. Ooh. Let's get some rotations in here. So from here, we're just going to rotate right back to that other side. Nice full breath. And then we're going to switch sides. Finding it here, 1 full breath here. And let's just rock it back and forth a few times. Finding those hips, some mobility too. And here's the chance. Let's say one side feels tighter than the other. You pick it. We're going to do 5 more breaths wherever you want, either side. You can be leaning forward, up tall. Let's do it. One more breath. And we're going to rotate both feet so soles are on the ground, and you bring yourself nice and happy, easy pose again. From that easy pose over, you're just going to square it back and into tabletop. We are going to once again tuck those toes under, press up through that high plank and back to down dog. Let's get 6 breaths here. 2 more breaths. I'm going to give us that. And finishing that last breath, exhaling to high plank. Here comes some strength if you want. If not, just lower yourself. But if not, keep those elbows in by the side, shoulders over hands, right over hands, and then lower yourself all the way. Nice and controlled. We're going to get a little bit more shoulders and we're about done. So take our right hand and our left hand, actually. We're going to start here. We're just going to hold a nice Sphinx pose. Let's just do 6 breaths, making sure the collarbone's nice and open, throat forward, back bend, feeling that breath expand into the earth. And from here, what we're going to do is we're going to do a nice shoulder opening and a scorpion. So you take your right hand, extend it out to the side in a half T, lower yourself to the mat, and you're going to take that left leg bending and twisting over. Let's get 6 breaths here. Listen to your range of motion. If you can't go all the way over, that's okay. Two more breaths. And here comes the next dance. You might want your yoga strap for this if you don't have a lot of shoulder mobility. Untwist so your leg starts to come back into center. And then we're just going to, once you're there, take that left ankle in the left hand, and we're just going to come into a nice thigh stretch. You can rest your head on that right forearm. 6 breaths. One more breath. And exhale, release it. Let's switch sides. Left hand out to the side. We're going to bend at the right knee. Switch it over. Oh, yeah. I worked chest yesterday. I can feel it. 6 breaths. One more breath. And back through to center. Taking that hand, right hand to the right ankle, and then forehead on the forearm. 6 breaths on the right thigh. One more breath. And release. Walk yourself back up through Sphinx. Press yourself forward into tabletop. And just bring yourself onto your bum. We're going to finish off right here. Take our right leg, cross it over the left. We're coming to a nice seated supine twist. Or cross-body twist, excuse me. 6 breaths. One more inhale and exhale here. And back through center, switching sides. Left leg over right. Let's get it. 6 breaths. One more breath. And uncrossing back to center. And we are done with that. If anything felt great, you're always welcome to repeat it. But that is it for today. I'll see y'all later.